Hello, Rena. Welcome to the Elevate podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. And I just wanted to share how we met first to the audience so that I can dive into your story. But it was about 2 months ago, I think, that you held like a jewelry party, well, event actually, highlighting your jewelry. And it was with my friend Alexandra. And that's when I got to hear your story. And I was like, wow, what an interesting story. I didn't think I was going to come to the jewelry event and like get to learn that side of you. Usually you go and you're just like, hey, here's my jewelry. This is how I started. But like, I mean, you went deeper into it. And I thought that it was very inspiring. And I felt like this was a story that I wanted to share here on the podcast because on the Elevate podcast, it's like when you elevate your life, you elevate those around you as well. And so I just wanted to have you on the show and share your story. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome. I feel like your story is so interesting. Um, so we can get into it basically. When you started, you were working, I guess you were working for a company and then you had some burnout issues. Can you
Yes.
just give us a little background about how that happened and what you had to do to kind of overcome this burnout? Because I know a lot of people burn out and it sounds like, oh, I'll never burn out. Like I have lots of energy to give, but like what set it off?
Yeah, so I was actually working as a fashion buyer before I got burnout, and I was working 24/7. It was really fun, but it was not good for my health. And also, lots of things were happening to my life. My mom's twin sister, she was like a mother to me also. She passed away in breast cancer, and I took it really hard. I did not expected it, but I did. And I don't think I have still recovered from that. I am working on it, but it was, like a mother bonding. It's really special. So there were just lots of things happening to my life, and I know before I got burned out, I got some warning signals also, but I was not listening to them. I was ignoring. I was keep on autopilot. So one day, it was when COVID started. So I just felt like I had this breathing issues. I thought it was my asthma, but it was not. Um, I um, I was just having like so difficult to breathe, and I called the clinic, Vårdcentralen, and I also called. I also went to the emergency, and they just saw like, you're perfectly fine. You might have COVID, so just go home and rest. And I was like, yeah, okay, but because I could not understand what actually happening to my body. It was just like I was just stop breathing, and at nights, I just had these attacks, like I cannot breathe. My heartbeat was really fast, and I just felt really dizzy, and I had to vomit. It was so scary, but the doctors didn't take it seriously. So after 5, 6 months, I got even worse. I lost a lot of weight. I did not sleep anything at night because I just had the fear that if I'm gonna sleep, then maybe I'm just not gonna wake up. And so I was a totally mess. And you can imagine 6 months not sleeping and hardly eating. So my mom took me to a doctor. Finally, I got an appointment. I think because they could handle COVID a little bit better. And then she said, basically, when I was there, coming from the taxi to the doctor's room, I could not walk.
Oh
I
my
was
gosh.
panicking and I could not breathe. And I just started crying. I didn't know what was happening to my body because this is the first time you don't know what's going on. And so basically I just broke down. I was like, no, I cannot walk. So my doctor came to me and it was like, take a deep breath and be calm. So my mom helped me, and the doctor helped me to his room. So he was asking lots of questions, and they took, my pulse and everything. And he said to me like, "You have mentally issues. We have to admit you at the hospital." And for me, I've always been a strong girl. I'm a strong woman. I could never thought that this is something mentally could happen to me. So I was like, no, this is something physically happened to me. This is probably my asthma. It could not be my mental health, because I've always heard my whole life I'm a strong woman, so this could not happen to me. So basically, when I met him, he said, "You have mental issues. This is not normal. We had to admit you, and now." And I
And when
was,
they, sorry, I want to ask, admit you into what, like a psychiatric care
yes,
or wow. And
yes,
how did that
yes.
hit you? I mean, you're like, what?
Yeah, it was. And at that time, they had only one spot left at St. Göran's psychiatry department. And that at that time, it was a mix of people. It was people with psychosis. Do you call it psychosis?
Oh, I
Psychosis?
have no idea. But it's like,
Yeah, but they were like on really high level, mentally sick.
yeah.
And I was
You're
like,
like, I'm not.
yeah, I just feel like, oh my God, where am I? This is crazy. What the hell is my doctor talking about? I am perfectly fine. And then after 2 days, I just told my doctor, like, no, I don't. I'm fine. I'm going home. And since I'm over 18 here, so my parents cannot say anything. So I just went home. And my family were so surprised, like, what are you doing here? You should be there. They should be treating you. And I was like, I'm perfectly fine. Nothing happened to me. So 1, 2 days, I think I was like, okay. But then I got, you know, again, really getting these attacks and stop eating. So my weight was 30 kgs. And
Wow.
my husband was like, "Can you stand on the weight?" And I could feel no, I don't. Why should I do that? Stand on the weight. So it was saying 30 kgs. And he just called my mom, and no, we have to admit her,
Mm.
because he was trying to feed me also. And Jessica, I was literally crying. I could not get the food in. I don't know why. It was just like my body was just like, no, I cannot eat this. You know,
Mm.
it was an anxiety. Sorry. I probably was an anxiety. I could not eat. And so when I came this time, I came to a good department at
Mm.
Danderyd's. And finally, after I think 8 months, and this is a long time we are talking about.
Mm.
I mean, mental illness is really serious. People should take this seriously. I was not on that level that I will kill myself, but I just felt like, I don't know, I was just in this black hole, and I could not see anything. It was just like I could not see my future. I could not see anything. For me, it was a survival, every day, from waking up, from coming from the bed to the toilet, to maybe go to the kitchen, have something to eat. It was such a struggle. And since I was 30 kgs, I could not stand.
Mm. You were
I
really
was like,
weak.
no, I was so weak. I could not even take a shower by myself. I could not even walk by myself. Someone had to help me, be with me.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I was there, then finally I could feel like the I could realize that I have mentally issues. I'm not feeling well mentally. And I can feel my doctors were also understanding what I'm going through, because I'm not the only one, you know?
Mm.
There are so many other people's going through this. And I met also these people, young people, Jessica, young people we are talking about, who is struggling with mental issues. And when I came from there, when we knew the problem was, there were a whole team helping me, from doctors to dietists to psychologists to physiotherapist. Everyone were helping me. So, and also, of course, with medications, to vitamins, because I had not eaten for months. And I even got this, I remember these shots for vitamin shots. It was no fun, like these injections.
Yeah.
It was no fun at all, but
Wow.
I had to. So it was a difficult time of my life,
Can
really difficult.
I ask really quick, if you don't mind sharing, and if you don't want to share it, that's okay. Did they find out what was going on? What was the underlying issue? Or
Yeah, so I talked to the psychologist a lot, about my life and everything. And that also shocked me a little bit, was that I'm a person, like when I'm going through difficult things in life, like my dad had a stroke, there are lots of things. I don't deal with the problem. I just, okay, I don't want to do this now. I don't want to think about it. I just feel really bad. I'm just gonna go to London.
Mm.
But you cannot escape from your problems, because these problems were actually haunting me. And when I was talking to the psychologist, I had this, uh, I was, when I was talking about these things, was really difficult in my life. It was, oh my God, I just totally broke down, Jessica. It was really difficult. And I
Mm.
could feel I could not breathe.
Mm.
I was just having these attacks. So I was a person who don't deal with things. And it's so important to do that. 2 years ago, I had a car accident, and it was really, really bad on the highway. It was a miracle that I survived. And
Wow.
yeah, but what I have learned is that I had to deal with that. So I just I just did not work for those days, because it took me maybe 2 weeks to recover. And I was dealing with that. I was feeling what is bothering me. I was doing some exercises to calm me down. I allow myself to cry,
Mm. Yeah.
and now I am perfectly fine.
Yeah. I think there's definitely truth to dealing and healing yourself. You can heal yourself.
Yeah,
But sometimes you need to know that it's possible, that there are tools out there to help you. And I
yeah,
remember during that time during COVID, it was like maybe 2021. I think after COVID was like really big and stuff. I had a lot of like anxiety at that time. I think a lot of people had a lot of
yeah,
anxiety around that time.
yeah,
But I remember like it was just looking for something to do that was different, to just get away. Like I have, two kids and my husband, and while I love being with them, I felt like I just needed to get away, but I didn't want to travel somewhere far. And I saw that this girl Johanna here in Sweden was having this retreat. It was a wellness retreat. And I was like, oh, that sounds nice. Like, it looks like you're going to do yoga and like eat some good, healthy food. Like, that's exactly what I need. I don't know
yeah,
who's going to be there. I'm going by myself. And so
yeah,
I went. And it ended up being like totally the opposite thing. I did
yeah,
not anticipate like dealing with issues, like confronting
mm,
things that, like holding on to stress, or things that, you never processed. And we
yeah,
went through a lot of series of like little like workshops that
mhm,
sounded ridiculous at first. I was like,
yeah,
you've got to be kidding me. You're asking me to do this in front of a bunch of people. It
yeah,
was very uncomfortable to do it, but I did it anyways, and like I felt like like the stress or whatever I was feeling was so relieved.
yeah,
You kind of like went through a whole process of just dealing with things that you never dealt with, like
Mm,
processing. And it was so great. Like I felt so much better. I even lost weight after that because I think like you hold on to this like cortisone and stuff right in the body from stress. And I can say that for sure, like if somebody is dealing with that, find a way to deal with it. Like
yeah,
go to find somebody who teaches wellness retreats that allows you to kind of process things that you've been holding on to, like trauma or whatever.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
think that's really important to
yeah,
talk about, because I think not a lot of people really want to talk about like that those underlying issues can actually affect your life, and if
yeah.
you don't process it, it definitely stays with you for a long time. So yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So then during this time, you started getting the help, and then you started, I remember you saying during this party that you got into jewelry making. Is that correct? Or is that like you kind of found your way into it, or
Yeah, so I needed a hobby, um, because during this time I was kind of also, my brain was not working properly because my brain and body, they just stopped communicating and working.
Mm,
It sounds weird, but it was actually because I could not sit in front of my phone.
mhm,
My body was, my brain was just like, no, it's all black.
mm,
So for this long time, my brain, I did not use my brain. Um, I could not read. I could hardly watch TV, you know? So I had to find something um, to do, you know? Um, because I had no plans. I quit my job and I hadn't I did not know what to do, you know? So for me, just to like have something to do, you know, that just make me happy. Because I remember I talked to my husband that I'm not going to go back to my job, never, ever, ever. I loved it, but no, it was so not worth it. So at that time also I had to think what to do with my life, you know. But first of all, I had to do uh, something I love, you know. And jewelry has been a part of me since childhood, you can say. And this is also a dream I had, because it's coming from my grandmother and my mom, and my aunts also. Everyone, I mean, jewelry is like crazy. They're crazy about jewelry. And I have seen that since childhood. I did not have had that much passion, you know, but from the beginning, from when I was a child. But I saw them when I was growing, and you know, I got into this like, wow, this is so cool, you know. And you know, my grandmother, she passed away a few months ago, and she is my biggest. I mean, she was my biggest inspiration because even now till the end she put jewelry on her, you know, and before she was going to bed,
mm.
that's,
Before?
yeah, before
Oh,
going to
wow.
bed, yeah. Also, I mean, she changed the jewelry, you know,
So
she
she
the
had
one
like nighttime jewelry, or
yeah,
like
exactly,
that's
exactly.
incredible. Can
So
I
cute.
really quickly just let everybody know a little bit about your background, because you
Yeah.
you grew up in Sweden, or no, you can
Yes.
tell us.
Yeah. So I am born and raised in here in Sweden, Stockholm, but my parents are from Pakistan. So I have my roots in Pakistan then. Yeah.
And that makes sense, right, with the jewelry, because I know that there they really decorate and adorn themselves with
Yeah.
jewelry.
So yeah, and we also have lots of like bling bling, you know?
Yes. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. I just wanted to quickly let people know like about your
Yeah.
background so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But okay.
Yeah.
So your grandmother was your inspiration, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. So I started to do. I went to Pakistan when I was feeling better. I love Pakistan. We are so rich in food and culture and colors, you know. And I went to Pakistan. I just like I met some suppliers there, and I got some really cool jewelry. I did not design it or make anything from the beginning. I just met the suppliers, and I had a really cool jewelry, and I made a really bad website, and I know people were complaining, like, "Oh my God, I cannot order." But this was just like for fun, you know? This was just for fun.
But
Just
what
having,
made you want to get into like going to see a manufacturer? Like, what happened before that? Were you just like, oh, I want to sell jewelry, or like you had started looking at it? Like, what sparked going there and seeing a
yeah,
manufacturer?
no. I have families in Pakistan, so I go usually to visit, and they have really cool suppliers there as well. So I think my was like, I'm just gonna sell it to family and friends just for fun.
Mm.
Because some people do that, because we have really cool jewelry over there. And it was not about starting a business or anything. It was just like, I'm gonna, like, s- start selling,
Or stock up on stuff and bring it home back to
Yeah,
Sweden and sell it
yeah,
to
exactly.
friends or
Yeah,
whatever. Like, yeah.
yeah. Because I have lots of, I always have lots of from Pakistan. So that's what I did. And I never wanted to sell, like, have at home. I think I thought it was really cool to have like a website, you know? So I started an account at my bank, and I was like, okay, and this was basically just for fun I had. And so yeah, so this is how it started, and all of my jewelry, the collections were just sold out, and I got
That's
such a
amazing.
good response. So after that, just sit there. I mean, even today, like, jewelry is a therapy for me. If I'm having a bad day, I'm just gonna sit and work with my Elegancify. I just love it. And so I just, after that, I was like, okay, this is fun. And this is also like made me come to back to, you can say, life, to work. I could finally see some lights in my life. Before it was just a black hole. So finally I could see some lights, like maybe there is a future for me. Maybe I can do something. Um, So I started this, and it was so basic. I did not put much money on it. It was just basic, basic. I started working with influencer marketing. I have never done that in my whole life, but this is just how I research.
Yeah.
And after that, then it was a hit. I was really surprised. And after that, Elegancify was like there, you know?
Yeah.
Uh, it's so cool when I think about it, how I started everything. Um, and now it's like I have my own e-commerce business. I have a showroom now in Östermalm, where you went to for the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing because I mean, a lot of people do start like I actually had a jewelry business when I was younger.
Oh,
I
wow.
did, and I
Oh,
used to sell jewelry in Chicago at this like place called the Silver Room. And I know that like it's so I actually was like I want to be a jewelry designer now. Like I'm the jewelry designer. But like I didn't know what I was doing. I was selling jewelry on Etsy. I had no clue, but I felt like really excited
yeah.
about it. And I think it's that newness, that idea of like I'm going to do something new, that fresh idea. It just brings you to life, but also like you're doing something that you enjoy doing. And I think that's
Yes.
really important.
Yes.
So
Something
like for
you love
me,
to do.
yeah, and I loved it. And I was doing it on the side while I was working as a graphic designer. And
Yeah.
so I would say that like I've had many different occupations like as a job.
Wow.
But I need that. So, but I mean, that's what you need to like feel excited again. It's kind of like when you meet somebody new and you start a new relationship. It's like,
Yeah.
ah, everything's fresh and exciting.
Yeah.
But I think that's really cool that you found something that sparked like life back into you and that, it was just something for fun, that you didn't put all this pressure on yourself to turn it into something. but you allowed it to like unfold and turn into something bigger. So
Yeah.
now like I've seen you in magazines. You're also your jewelry is being worn by celebrities, right? Swedish celebrities.
Yes.
How did you get your stuff into the magazines? Like were you approached or did you have like some PR or like how did you approach
So
it?
yeah, so I starting as an entrepreneur. I love also being in networks, women network. I have been I still I love. I love meeting new entrepreneurs, this networking events. I really love it. It's so fun. So from there, I also got connections into this. You can say a PR and so what I do, like, my showroom I have,
Yeah.
yeah. So there the celebrity comes and they choose your jewelry.
Okay.
So yeah, so I don't have any control of my jewelry is there, but the stylist for the magazines and they choose your jewelry because they like your jewelry.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's very beautiful. So we'll have to put the link to your website in the show notes. But so eventually you started designing your own jewelry, right? Like you actually started doing the process of designing. How did that turn out? Like how was that process for you?
It was it was so fun. I have been looking for manufacturers everywhere, and because you have to see which one also can give you a good result and for a good cost. But I felt like the closest I can feel is Pakistan, where my roots are, because I really love our jewelry over there. So what I try to do, I have this elegant style, and I also have a little bit mix of Scandinavian and Asian for those who wants to have a little bit more bling bling. So I was now in Pakistan, in February. So I met the I was there at the workshop. They were actually making the jewelry there, and I have a girl helping me there as well, because from here it's a bit difficult. But so she's helping over there that I see everything is okay because some things I have to see. I'm really, you can say, I'm really into this. It has to be perfect.
The quality. You want
Yeah,
to
the
check the
quality.
quality before it comes
Yeah,
to
and
you,
the
right?
finish, yeah, the finish, everything has to be perfect. But I cannot see it 100% from here, so I have her helping me. So it was so fun now when I actually visited the workshop factory there, and they were making my ring, and this was like, oh my God. So this is my spring summer collection coming now, so it's gonna be so
Ooh, I'm
much
excited.
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
So, are you drawing or how are you finding inspiration for your jewelry? I mean, of course, you have the Pakistan roots and the
Yeah.
Scandinavian roots, but are you actually like drawing or how are you doing it?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm really bad at drawing.
It's okay as long as you can tell somebody like I want it to look like this, make
Yeah,
it look like this.
yeah. So I actually have someone who's helping me. I just tell my idea and she's drawing. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't have any. I'm just being honest. I don't have any. I don't know how to make
No.
these. I want to learn though. It's good.
But we have
There.
ideas, right? So we just
Yeah.
need somebody to help make the vision come
Yeah.
to life. That's what
Yeah.
I think of like as the photographer. Like I have clients who come to me, they're like, I need brand photos. I have this idea, and then they come to me and I can help make it happen. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing. And
Yeah.
so you have your ideas, you have a vision, you just need
Yeah.
somebody to help translate it. So that's
Yeah.
basically it. So
Yeah.
it's still you coming up with it. So
Yeah.
don't feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so that's so cool. So you have the collections being made there, and then they're coming to Sweden, and then you have your showroom, and
yes.
that's like how people are finding your jewelry.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
so because
Also
of the
almost.
jewelry and stuff, like you ended up somehow going into business mentoring now, or is that what you're doing? Are you still doing that?
Yes. So I when I started Elegancify, sorry, Jessica.
It's okay.
My throat is really bad. Okay. So when I started Elegancify, there were lots of people asking me, "How did you do this? How did you do that? You know, this is so cool. I also thinking about starting a business, but I don't know, but if why?" So I helped lots of women, but after that, I just felt like I'm giving a lot of my time, um, and it's really nice to help someone because I believe in our women, helping each other, supporting each other, especially entrepreneurs, and I started my dream, and this is the best decision of my life, and I want everyone to follow their dream. It's not as maybe that's easy, but you can definitely do it. Nothing is impossible. And
Mhm.
I am a living truth. I was basically brain dead, and I follow my dream, and this is like amazing.
Yeah.
And so what I did then, I just started this coaching then for women who wants to start their dream business. But then it's also I have a full manual how to start from the beginning. It's a yeah, it's basically a manual, like a workshop
Hmm.
course. Yeah. So how you do it from the beginning, from like registering in Bolagsverket, and then you just follow these steps.
Mm.
Um,
That's
yeah,
amazing. Like, that's so wonderful that you're able to help people with that because I know that that can just be enough for somebody to not do it.
yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And then they're like, "Oh, I wish I could do this, but I
yeah,
have to do that." And it
yeah,
sounds too overwhelming. I'm
yeah,
an American that lives in Sweden and I had to do it, and I was so lost the entire time. I literally was asking my husband for help and he was like, "I don't have time for this, like I'm
yeah,
helping big companies and I like don't even know like how to register the stuff. Like my company like helped me with that when I moved back to Sweden. Like
yeah,
we both were clueless. So like I had to figure it out for myself. But I'm
yeah,
one of these people that likes to take risks and challenges and I
yeah,
and I did it. But
yeah,
it was very scary to start
yeah,
something
yeah,
and especially when it's not your own language, it's really scary because you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I'm doing something right or wrong.
yeah,
But I mean, I still did it anyways. And
yeah.
now I get a lot of people contacting me through my photography Instagram all the time. People coming to
Wow.
me and they're like, how did you start your business? Can you
Yeah,
give me tips? Or I just came to Sweden and I want to be a photographer. How did you start?
wow.
And I've gone and I've met them for coffee and I give them all the information and I don't know like what they do with it. But then after a while I was like, I think I need to start teaching or coaching.
Yeah,
And at first I had a lot of resistance to that, like because I was like, who's going to want to learn from me? Like, oh,
yeah,
So then, there was a lot of figuring it out.
yeah,
And I avoided photographers at some point and was just focusing on business owners. Like I thought I could help them. So I had to kind of go through my own journey of figuring it out. And I think that's the beautiful thing about going on a journey is like you never have the right answer and there will never be the right answer. You just have to kind of start and see what happens and then you can
yeah,
pivot or do something else.
yeah,
And so like I feel that call from like, people asking me these questions that I was like, okay, maybe I need to start mentoring or like becoming a coach. That sounds
yeah,
so strange, but like but then I found myself very like excited about it and I find it very rewarding to help
yeah,
people with the business side that I was like, is it okay that I like move out of that, like just being a creative and also being a business owner, like helping people? Like it was very much like, do I like you get imposter syndrome? Do I know enough or this and that? But eventually, like I've started to grow into it, and it becomes easier and easier the more you help people and give them the answers. But like ultimately, like you can ask questions to somebody who's maybe more advanced, but you have to figure it out for yourself because it's
Yeah.
your story will be different than my story because we live different lives. We hang out with different people. What we offer is different. So it's really just like figuring it out. And I think that's
Yeah.
the key is like just taking the first step of like
Yeah.
venturing into something that you've been maybe wanting to do for a long time, but you're too
Yeah.
afraid to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically like kind of why I started this podcast. I started it in 2021 and like I've been slowly building it little by little. Like I invite people on the show. Now I'm getting people reaching out to me, but in the beginning, nobody knew who I was.
Yeah.
Nobody knew like what the podcast was called. And I just had to like just build it. And like now it's getting a lot more like attention.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this for it's a passion project. I mean, I don't really get paid to do this. It's more for fun, but also I get
Yeah.
to highlight interesting people and I work on my speaking skills and I can maybe help somebody along the way because everybody that I interview has different backgrounds, different stories, they're doing different things. And so that's why I want to share more stories like this on the podcast. So, and now I have two podcasts.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah, but it gets easier the more like you start creating. You're like, oh, I can do this. This is easy. But,
Yeah.
in the beginning, I couldn't even get on camera. I couldn't
Yeah.
speak to anybody.
Yeah.
I was trembling. Like
Yeah.
my mouth was shaking. So, I mean, it's been a process,
Yeah.
self-development. So, that's amazing.
Uh,
So now you're helping females. Swedish, I guess, is mostly like the
yeah. Yeah.
clientele that you're working with.
Yeah.
But that's great that you are combining both basically, right? So you're able to do both things at the same time, or do you find
Yes.
that difficult?
No, now in the beginning, it's a little bit more work to do because it's new, you
Mhm.
know? But no, I have the time, and I also have girls helping me with Elegancify too.
Mhm.
So I can find the time. And it's
Yeah.
fun also, you know? It's fun. And I am also expanding my coaching. So this is just what I started, but I have so many plans. So it's gonna be,
Oh, do you have
yeah.
anything that you want to share? Like, put it out to the universe and let it come back to you and find you.
Yeah, but I'm also planning a workshop for social media,
Mhm.
especially those who wants to grow. So I'm working on that also.
Yeah,
So it's gonna be
great.
fun.
Awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, you have like a couple like you have your personal Instagram and you have Elegance and your coaching as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's amazing. Well, I'm so glad that we were able to share part of your story. I know that it goes deeper and there's more layers to it, but really, in the end, it's just about sharing the story, showing that you can take, something that might feel super negative at the moment
Yeah.
and not know what can happen. Something positive can
Yeah.
be at the end of the tunnel, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you
Yes.
for sharing that with us.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
yeah, I want why don't I will put excuse me, I will put your information in the show notes. So if you want to find Rena, you can find her and check out her beautiful jewelry. It is very bling bling. Do you ship internationally as well, or?
Yes, I started to do that, and now the for this year, so I'm expanding now in Scandinavia, which is really fun. So it's going to be lots of traveling. It's going to be Norway, Denmark, Finland.
Okay. So
Yeah,
does
so
that
now,
mean that you're going to be putting your jewelry in shops in
yes,
Scandinavia?
yes, shops and influencer marketing.
Okay. So I
That
guess
too.
basically you get to take your fashion retail background and use
Yes,
that now to get your
yes,
jewelry out there.
yes. So I'm
Amazing.
really excited. I'm really excited. It's gonna
Yeah.
be fun. So that's this year's project, you can say.
That's so cool. Okay. Well, I want to see the spring collection. So if you have a little viewing or whatever, please send it to me. Send me an invite. Yeah.
Of course.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show today and sharing your story. And if you want to keep up with Rena, go follow her on her Instagram and check out her jewelry as well. All right. Thank
Mm.
you.
Thank you, Jessica.
Bye.
Bye.